talking basketball. They're fucking dumb as shit. They don't know basketball, but they will make dumb ass jokes.
Let's fucking do it. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pod Don't Lie with Sam and Stav. We're not even fucking... Sam just hopped off the jet. I just fucking got back from a... You can see if you're watching on YouTube, I got my titties sweating. I just got back from a...
Whoa, look at those. Black shirt had hit a little bit, but now,
thank
that
you.
point it out. Yeah.
Thank you. And I wish it was because of strenuous exercises, not like a leisurely walk to Astoria Park. But you know what? That's where we're at right now, fitness-wise, folks. Sometimes it's about looking yourself in the mirror and being like, where are we? And it's like, look, if an hour walk gets you feeling like you just did fucking an hour of Billy Blank's Tybo, then so be it. But it's a matter of getting up out of your fucking house and doing a little exercise.
Dude, I had the same thing. I'm with Gary Vita. We get off the LaGuardia runway. We get down, and it's one of those outdoor drop-offs. We're going all the way up the thing.
One. I hate that one.
There was a woman in front of us. She goes, I'm winded. Everyone's out of shape from COVID.
Yeah.
We're all hurting.
We're hurting, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I rarely take morning flights out. I'm glad I did. I'm back.
You're back. Isn't that the best feeling when you're just home before like fucking, 3 p.m.? That's awesome. That's why coming back from the West Coast is the worst thing in the world. Because it's like, even if you take a fucking 6 a.m. flight, you don't get home till like, you're not in your house till like 4 somehow, just because of the fucking horrible time change.
I'm looking at some of those return from the West Coast flights, and I'm like, arrival 11:57 p.m. This is terrible,
dude. Yeah, if you want to just get a good night's rest on the West Coast, you're getting home at fucking 10 p.m. and by the time you're in your house, forget about it. And then you're also like wired, you're up because it doesn't feel like you've done anything. It's like you just got to a city and it's like, well, the day is over. How the fuck did this happen?
Hell.
But I will say, getting there is always nice.
I loved getting to the West Coast.
You feel like a fucking a wizard, a fucking time traveler.
I
can't wait. I can't wait. I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to Vegas this Thursday. By the way, go buy tickets. Wise Guys Comedy Club, and then I'm in Sacramento, and then I'm staying on the West Coast. I need it, dude. It's kind of like when old Jews moved to Florida. It's the same thing with fat comedians going to the West Coast in the winter, because there's no way I'm doing exercise if it's cold outside. It's
hard. Although I will tell you, every once in a while, like I used to play hoops outdoors in the winter constantly, and that burn you get, like at first it sucks, but when you're walking back and you don't even need a jacket.
Dude, it's a great feeling, but that's when you're already working out. When you got to start a habit and you're looking for 1 million excuses, it's like, I can't tell you how many days I've been meaning to walk outside, and it's been so cold that I'm like, I can't do it. And this morning I was just like, I had a moment. This was literally a turning point in my life where so my little brother had an art show in Baltimore over Friday.
How was the show? Yeah,
it was great.
That's where we left things.
That's right. He was showing his art, and it was good. He sold some pieces. First day, he sold a couple pieces, and it went great. But it was also the kind of thing where, I guess I explained. It is funny because of timing. We're doing these episodes pretty close together. But I went to Baltimore, and then I took a. Did I tell you how I was getting back? I was going to take a Southwest flight, 10 p.m.
And you come back that night. Yeah.
Come back that night. It was awesome. I felt like like a fucking secret agent. You know what I mean? Where it's like, down to Baltimore, Halkias, 007. it's like, go hang out, smoke a joint, and look at your brother's art, and come back. It's like, we need you to get high outside and, eat your mother's spinach pie, and then come home.
Did you see that Roger Moore story that kind of been circulating around?
Yes, that was so cool.
It just made me love Roger Moore so much. About if you're listening, you don't know the story. It's basically a little kid who's now a screenwriter went up to him when he was like 7 with his grandpa at the airport and said, "Oh my God!" And he recognized him from James Bond. I want his autograph. And basically, Roger Moore signs it Roger Moore, obviously. Yeah. And the kid's like, "That's not his name."
He's like, "What the fuck? I wanted James Bond."
So the kid goes back, and Roger Moore with his grandpa kind of looks at his grandpa and then looks at the kid and goes, I'd love to tell you that, I'm James Bond, but I can't. I'm on a secret mission. So if you tell anybody, and it's like, what an amazing thing to do for a kid. He remembers the story all these years later. Then this kid is an adult screenwriter working on him with a project. He meets him, said he's a wonderful guy, then tells him a story. He's like, oh, I don't remember that, but that sounds like a fun thing. Then as he's walking outside, turns to him and goes, of course I remember, but I didn't want anyone else in there to hear.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's beautiful.
So dude, imagine being a little kid and James Bond telling you you're in on a secret mission with him. I would have been strutting around kindergarten, dude. I would have gotten so much kindergarten play. I would have been like, "What's up, baby? You want to see how to work the monkey bars, baby girl? I'll show you." I'm basically a secret agent.
That's a great like short thing in James Bond. The little kid just starts bragging and immediately gets Bond killed.
That would be so awesome. That's how it goes down. But so I was on the Southwest flight, and I am, my friends like, oh, let's hit a joint, whatever. And it's a completely empty flight because it's like, who the fuck is, I don't even understand how it makes sense for them money-wise. There was like 50 of us on a fucking, but it's still a Southwest. They're kind of small airplanes.
It's weird when it's a short flight late at night because I've tried to take a lot of those on like a Sunday. Maybe on Friday it makes more sense, but they never have them on Sundays. I'd love to take a 10,
It would be
10:30.
incredible.
Oh my God.
Incredible, dude. I always think like sometimes I'm like, can I just fucking, after a Saturday late show, is there any way to hop on a fucking plane and be home? And it's very rare for that.
I'm fine landing at 3 a.m., 4 a.m.
Exactly.
That's when I go to bed anyway.
Exactly. I'd be up anyway. Anyway, the point I'm making is that I struggled with an airplane seatbelt for the first time in a long time. Look, it buckled. There was a little bit of, I was high. There was a little bit of like, certainly it didn't help that I've gotten like that's been a while since I've had trouble with a seatbelt. And it's like, whatever, you struggle with it. That's one thing. I was wearing a lot of layers. There's a lot of reasons, but the humanizing part was the flight attendant. It was this dude. He was like, did you get it? Like he checked. He didn't take my word for it. He thought I was lying about it buckling. He checked like he was like I was a dog. Like I was a dog taking medicine. He's like, open your mouth. Let me see that you got it. And he literally made me like tug on the seatbelt because he didn't believe I wasn't.
That is. I gotta say, man, flight attendant is the worst job on the plane. Unless you're we're a hall monitor kid, that's the worst job because you just have to walk over to people like, I'm so sorry, could you not do that? Especially with the mask. Oh, sir, your mask is down.
Brutal. Yeah.
Oh my God,
because people treat you like so many fucking assholes treat you as if you're like their servant to begin with, like people, and so it's like when you have to like add enforcing rules to that, it's like it's got to get weird. But
it's hell.
Anyway, that was a big wake up where I was like, all right, I'm going on walks. I'm watching. I can't, because it's like I also had so much chicken that like my ribs started hurting, and I was like, all right, I can't sustain injuries from meals and also have flight attendants check that my seatbelt is buckled. I'm looking myself in the eye, and we got to do something about it. So anyway, I was out in the cold, but I'm very happy that I'm going to Vegas where it's hot. I'm going to be fucking...
Yeah, Vegas, where everybody gets their life together. A great spot.
Okay, maybe Vegas ain't the place, but when I'm going to LA after that for like 5 days, and then Sacramento. Sacramento's so boring, I feel like there will be
get a hotel buyout. I think I told you.
You told me that. Nimesh told me that. Everyone has told me that. Everyone says get a fucking buyout.
Yeah, it's one of those hotels when you're a kid, you're like, this is cool. And then you grow up and you're like, this is not good. This is not. But, Sacramento, there's some fun shit to do there. I wish, maybe the COVID wave, I feel like it's hitting California pretty hard right now, but like maybe shit will die down. There's a really cool Prohibition style bar. Oh, dude, you look like you're in LA Confidential.
I love it. Yeah.
It's great. It's like some guy like playing Glenn Miller Band or some shit.
Yeah.
Get me a martini.
I'm just excited for it to be like warm enough where I could just go outside, fucking go walk some parks. Like I'm trying to have a wholesome tour because the last tour I was getting so fucked up. Yeah. Starting in Portland for me is Portland is one of the best places to be a fat piece of shit in the world. It's like they have the best food. They have a bunch of like strippers that clearly have there's probably a bunch of fat father figures that they're still trying to win their approval. So that's tailor made when you breeze into town as a fat charismatic man. There's plenty of opportunities to hook up with women in ethical, non-monogamous relationships while they feed you donuts and shit. So that was not a good place for me to start. And maybe Vegas isn't either, but at least it's warm. At least, I'm going to be in LA.
I always think I'm going to be healthy in warm weather, and then I get there and I'm like, daiquiri. Yeah. Why not,
Yeah, I say this. I'm probably going to be fucking drinking ice cream sundae. I'm drinking ice cream floats, but, whatever. We'll see how it goes.
All I get, I'm like, I'll log on a TikTok sometime for a minute, and I get hooked on there because all I get is food. They know they're very good at the algorithm at keeping you on.
They're very
so
smart.
I just get fed. The only stuff I like really on there is it's like this is a bacon cheeseburger made with a wheel of cheese right in front of you, and you're like, oh my god, of course I'm gonna stick around.
Of course, you got me for 17 seconds of this for sure. Yeah, I haven't taken the plunge on TikTok yet. I think I'm about to, but
it's pretty. You know what? I hate it because I can't post a clip on there. I had a run on TikTok where I was getting shared like crazy.
Yeah.
And these days, I can't post shit on there without getting muted.
Yeah.
They're silencing your boy.
You're getting flagged. Cancel culture's coming for your abortion jokes.
But, I will tell you, they're feeding me. It's all like a pumpkin ravioli recipe or some guy. Those quick cuts like, boo.
Yeah.
And it's just like slapping a steak, and you're like, this is awesome.
So I'm not on TikTok yet, but basically Instagram has stolen TikTok. They have Reels.
Sure.
And so I basically have kind of that's why I'm like, all right, I see what it is. I'll probably get on it. But for me, it's a mix of what you're talking about. And then it's also just like women with the biggest breasts you've ever seen in your life. Just doing some stupid dance. But then the best part is there's some middle ground where they have hot women cooking, or they have there's one Chinese lady that's dressed in period. She's doing manual labor, but she has huge tits, and for whatever reason, there's something in my Greek villager brain that sees a woman getting water from the well with her big ass titties spilling out everywhere, that I'm like, yeah. This is what I need. That's my mix on TikTok.
It's so funny you say that because there's an Italian milfy woman. Yes. I don't know if she lives in Staten Island or what.
Hell
but
yes.
she's on there and she's like, "This is how you make an eggplant palm." And I'm like double erect. Yeah. I'm I have my MILF brain thing, but then also you've got she's a good cook. I mean,
yeah.
You realize how many people are good cook. It's funny. Taylor will tell me, she's like, "You're a pretty good cook." I'm like, I'm dog shit. You're easy to please. Of course, it is. Because
we live in a world where if one of our friends knows how to soft boil an egg, we're like, wow, Michelin star. Because we just live like animals for most. There are
really good cooks out there. It's crazy. I mean, look how many episodes of Chopped there are. That alone, you're like, that's insane. Just getting on there, even if you're not that good, you're better than us by a ton.
100%. Yeah, all these restaurants, all the people that work in restaurants, it's it's kind of imagine if open mic comedians actually were good at comedy. It's there's as many cooks as there are open micers, but cooks are actually good.
Yeah. They're not doing I jacked off and tried to kill myself open mic equivalent. They're doing real. You're right, dude.
Yeah.
We ate at Pearlie's, and Richmond has amazing food.
I love Richmond. I got to get back.
Straight up amazing food. Pearlie's, I have to say, best Jewish deli I've ever been to.
Get the fuck out of here. Richmond, Virginia,
dude.
Pearlie's?
Look it up, dude. Damn. I have to tell you, it was stupid good.
Wow.
And I'll say this too, they comped our fucking meal. Love you, Pearlie's.
Oh, shout out to Pearlie's.
All I want is for Jewish delis to be get that guy a free meal. That's all I want.
Yeah. That seems like pretty high level degree of difficulty, just, knowing what we know about the people that typically run those establishments.
they're like, we're a fan, but give them a free bowl of pickles. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, they're like, Sam, don't even worry about tipping, pal. They're like,
no, dude, the food was. I'm there with Vita, who's a picky Jew.
Yeah,
dude, we were like, holy shit, we got
huge. That's a
borscht,
huge.
Matzo ball. We got.
You went the whole thing. You did pickles. The Jewish tasting menu.
We did that. We did the everything bagels with the schmear and smoked salmon. I didn't realize. I should have looked at the menu harder. Didn't see they had pierogies. I would have loved to get some pierogies too.
I love that because you did that's how I eat when I go somewhere and people are like, "You got to try this Greek place." I have to get I have to try the tzatziki for sure. I need to know what that's like. I need to know what their fried calamari is like. I need to know what the Greek salad is like, and I need to know, and then I need a meat dish that kind of like, it just rotates. I got to see, but if they can't get those things right, it's good that you tried a bunch the matzah, the fucking schmear, everything.
We did. Oh, it came with matzah too. The soup. I'm like, this is so. On top of that, I love the place, and yeah, when you do the road early on, it's like you're eating dog shit.
Of course,
I'm doing vending machines. I'm watching episodes of Bourdain,
Taco Bell, yeah, whatever.
And now you do the road when you're a little more in the game, and you're like, I'm doing the road like Bourdain. I'm getting all the shit.
Yeah, this is the one thing that's going to make me not want to kill myself. It was just like knowing I have a really nice meal to look forward to on Saturday. You know what I mean?
Fuck yeah.
I'm excited. I am really excited about hitting the road.
Richmond's a great little city. Like
I love Richmond, yeah. I haven't been I keep trying to go back. I might try and tack it onto this run of the South I'm doing, but it's just like it's weird because I'm always in Baltimore, I'm always in DC. But I just never, even like starting comedy, it was just like a little too far to like regularly hit it up. But I did a couple shows there early on that I loved, and I really want to get back there. And it is cool. I mean, it is like it's an art, college town artsy scene, that kind of stuff.
But it's also kind of got some of those, old timey Confederate type dudes.
Oh yeah,
you got and it's kind of fun. You get that mix.
It's a nice mix. I love mixes. I love weird mix. Fucked up. That's why it's hard for me to like leave Astoria, dude. It's like. This is the most like mixed up place I have ever lived in my life. It might be the most people say it and I believe it. It might be the most diverse neighborhood in the world because it's just like, it's just like you walk outside and it's like Eastern European restaurants of countries I've never even heard of. And they just have like they just have like.
Yeah, you're like Slovenia. What the hell is.
Yeah.
The hell is that?
Yeah, I love it, dude. Just like Christmas time, you just see a woman in a full burqa with a Santa hat on. It's just like the perfect mix. Great everything. So. Anyway, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to go out there and experience some stuff. I know. I love it. Anyway, we got some NBA, we got some hoops to talk about. I mean, I
got the Knicks in the background, and I just saw because we're doing this during a Knicks game because we're both very busy lately, and
yes.
And I got the Knicks-Clippers game in the background. I just saw King Julius hit a 3, so that gave me
That's good. That portends good things. The Knicks are up right now, 23 to 15. So
I'm glad you got that in the background too.
We'll keep you guys posted. We'll keep you guys posted on a game that will have long ended when you do hear this. I'm
just keeping it real. We got to have that on. So if you see me looking away for a second, I'm completely listening to Stavi's story. I need to see the score. King Julius hit his first 2 threes. That's big.
That's big. If Julius is going well, that's good for the fucking. That's huge for the fucking squad.
This is a game you got to win. We've been playing like dog shit at home, and this is a Clippers team that well coached, but they're a depleted roster.
They're depleted. They're coming off some big wins. I mean, they just beat Philly in what was like a heartbreaker for them, where it was a fucking right at the buzzer comeback. The Clippers were down 24 points, and and it's just like that's a tough one. If you're Embiid, especially, I mean, those are the moments where it's like, you
could use Ben Simmons.
You could absolutely a 1-point game where it's like, God damn.
Did you hear that there was a rumor mill trade before the Reddish thing went through? There was a rumor possibly Reddish and Collins for Ben Simmons.
That's not enough. That's not even close.
It's not even close to enough. But that was. Yeah, I mean, Collins.
Collins is interesting, but it's just like, Collins and Embiid. What the fuck is the point?
You got a tough front line.
You got a tough front line, but I think Collins especially, it's like he's complaining that his role is not big enough in Atlanta, and it's like right now he's basically, he's a good shooter. He's spacing the floor and he's getting his points where he can get them. But you would essentially be doing the same, like for that to work, you'd think he might
have a lesser role in Philly.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. It's like for it to work, he's got to basically do the exact same stuff. And you would probably have to get rid of Tobias, and it's like, who the fuck is taking him? I don't fucking know, but
the Sixers are just in.
But the Hawks and the Sixers would have been a nice. I think made sense.
I just don't think they have enough to give the Sixers realistically.
It's just so funny, dude, because it's like, I just feel like so much of this is Doc's fault, where it's like. It's like what Doc was supposed to be good at was was fucking locker room and keeping superstars happy. He's never done it. Literally never done it. Except you could argue KG, but it's with the KG team. But it's like that's more about KG than Doc.
But Doc is old school. Doc's a tough guy. Like when you look back at how Doc played, he was like a badass dude. He would fucking fight. Like Doc was an enforcer on the Hawks. I remember when the Knicks got him, I was like a baby, and people were like, "Oh!" I remember hearing like grown men be like, "Oh, Doc is like a tough guy." He's like,
and it just I know, and it's like absolutely, you're right. He's like he has that edge to him, and he clearly, I mean. The fucking Clippers fell apart because of personality issues, right? And then this last year, I just can't help but think if he had coached a better series, we're not having the Ben Simmons discussion. Like that game shouldn't have gotten to Game 7.
yeah.
But anyway, that's whatever. Fuck.
I can't believe they lost to the Hawks. I mean, that's with Simmons. You look at those rosters and you're like, Atlanta doesn't have a chance. I mean, that is really like Trey being postseason, like leveling up, and everyone on the Sixers just falling off a cliff, you know?
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
Simmons.
Yeah. But, somebody did have so we're doing a little bit of we've done a lot of mailbags with our Hard Dick 1800 now, by the way. Thank you. 1817. That's huge. Thank you to everyone on the Patreon. We've done a lot of those, but we have not done too many mailbags for the general pop, for you broke motherfuckers that are still, you know, thinking about, haven't exactly fucking dipped your balls all the way into the Pod Don't Lie elixir, the elixir of power that the Hard Dick 1800 have dipped their nuts into and have become more virile and more sexually potent as a result. A lot of people are saying that ever since they started putting $5 a month towards the Patreon, they have a lot of unintended pregnancies because of how powerful their seed has gotten as a result of being a part of this community. But we opened it up on Twitter today, partially because we also
before we do the questions, can I bring something up?
Sure. I just wanted to this one dovetails into the Sixers discussion.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Then I'm bringing something up after this then.
This is from Handsome Pete at TigerCheeks7 on Twitter. He says Wizards fans are growing increasingly tired of Bradley Beal and not willing to pay him a supermax. Does a Brad Beal for Ben Simmons, Matisse Thybulle, and Tyrese Maxey trade make sense for both sides?
Well, it hurts you defensively because, I mean, you're losing like all of your A defenders, right?
With Thybulle and Simmons. I think that's
Maxey is a pretty good defender as well.
He's okay. He's more. I mean, he is, but he's much more. His value is much more in having the ball in his hands and being an actual scoring guard. I think.
Sure. But Thybulle and Simmons are excellent defenders. I mean, those are that. I mean, look, it gives you a more interesting. I mean, Embiid has never played with a scorer like Beal. I worry that their defense becomes a little bit of an issue though. Then,
well,
that's been their identity.
Of course, yeah, and it's still, you know, and that's asking a lot, and it's like it's the kind of thing where how hard can you ride these guys? I mean, you see LeBron is a freak of nature, and these Lakers are still riding him at 37, but trying to do that with him, he's gotten injured significantly the past 4 years. Even the biggest freak of nature who's in the best shape money can literally buy, he breaks down. So I don't think you can ride Embiid that hard with his body type and his injury history on the defensive end. I also just think that's way too much for Beal.
Really?
I don't think you can get both Thybulle and Maxey.
I don't know, man. Think about what it took for Harden. You know, like you have to. I'm not saying he's Harden, but he's kind of in that conversation where Beal. I mean, then you have to also think. I mean, look, I said their defense will be bad. Their offense will be absurd. I mean, when you have Beal, Tobias, Embiid, and you have Seth Curry shooting open threes, I don't know who's playing point guard, but it might not matter. I mean, that's pretty potent offense.
Fuck, Sam. Oh, sorry, I'm here. You froze there for a second, but you're back. Yeah, so you were saying the Wizards is a potent offense or the Sixers? Sorry, you froze there for a second. Sammy?
I think the Sixers are pretty. Can you hear me, Stav?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, no, I just think I think the Sixers have a pretty potent offense with that line, the lineup of Beal, Tobias, and Embiid.
Right,
with
that's
Seth
true.
Curry shooting open threes. My problem is defense, because offensively that team is outstanding.
I guess if I'm the Sixers, I would try and keep Thibault. I mean, Maxey at least you're replacing. I mean, Beal and Maxey are obviously different players, but at least you're kind of replacing. He's the guy who would have the ball in his hands, and that's a lot of Maxey's value. So if you're getting somebody who's going to be ball dominant a lot, and I think Beal wants to do that, even though, it's shown that the more he's become the man, like, it's kind of hurt his shooting too, right? Like, we discussed this on the episode where it was me, Jamel, and our boy Ben Dietrich. He pulled up some crazy statistics. It's nice every once in a while to have someone who actually knows stats, and he was just talking about how Beal's like catch and shoot his numbers have gone down the longer he's kind of the more offensive, workload he's gotten. So, obviously Maxey would be useful, but I don't know, man, I just wouldn't give up on Thibault. Especially if you have that kind of, because then it's like your offense is so good that theoretically Thibault could start. If you have Tobias, Brad Beal, Thibault, and Embiid, and then you just have even Seth Curry or just some other point guard, you could start Thibault and it doesn't hurt your offense because the other guys are so good at offense that Thibault could kind of be in that almost honestly sort of the Ben Simmons role, that he was taking, even though he's obviously not as But you do that if you're the Wizards. You would trade Beal for Simmons and another maybe Maxey,
like role player?
and also a lot of draft picks too though. I think you have to trade draft picks in that situation.
I think I definitely do that if I can keep Thibault and I get Beal. If you're the Sixers, but I don't think Beal comes that cheap. I just don't think he. If the Wizards.
You don't think if they just load, like you're talking about that Harden deal, that was mostly a draft picks deal. I think Simmons, obviously he doesn't have his apex value, right? But I just think like Simmons is a very valuable piece. Maxey is a really good young player, and then if you add 2 future firsts and some swaps, I think that gets done. I don't know. Especially if you don't want to pay him the supermax, and I also think that would be better for the Wizards. I think I just see Beal as sort of on the wrong, like the trend line is not good for Beal, and it's like if you can sell now look, do they want to be
if Beal is your second best player instead of your first?
Exactly.
That's a scary Bradley Beal.
And I also will say for the Wizards should look at what's happening to the fucking Blazers right now. Could you have thought last season, like, think about Dame's trade value. Think about where the team is right now. Like, time and time again, it's proven you want to trade these guys a little earlier than a little later.
Fair enough. If your best case is probably like a 7 seed, which is what I guess would be the best case for the Wizards, what are you doing?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
I don't really. Yeah, I don't get it.
Then with a younger Simmons, who's a different, weird kind of player, and
Simmons and Kuz in the same starting 5. There's going to be a lot of fights over Punani and that.
There's
yeah.
There's a lot of light skinned heartthrobs on that fucking
There's
roster.
going to be a few Jenners in that locker room.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Black Sports Online is going to have to relocate to DC.
There's going to have to be a DC correspondent at Black Sports Online. They have to start their satellite offices in DC.
I gotta bring up something that's pissing me off.
Okay, hit me with it. And I
know what I'm gonna say.
Well, let me give what these. Let's just give it to the play because whoever has responded, I want to give them their first shake. The Mad Hatter also said they definitely wouldn't be giving Maxey and most likely not even Thibault. And then Handsome Pete responds, they're also not getting back anyone close to the caliber of Beal. It's a good deal for both sides if Philly is serious about contending. So Handsome Pete, he's more in line with your thinking, and the Mad Hatter is more in line with mine. Anyway, what were you gonna say? What's the thing that's getting your stuck in your craw?
Grayson Allen.
I'm with you. I cannot support his behavior.
And I saw I wrote that he's trash on Twitter, and someone wrote, I thought you liked like 90 or 80s, 90s ball. I do. I like physical play. I don't like trying to injure people.
You cannot. That is one of the cardinal rules of basketball is you do not, when the guy is up in the air completely defenseless, you do not change his fucking trajectory. You don't do it.
And he did it twice. He did it with one hand and he did it with the other.
He's a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit.
And I think it was Van Gundy calling the game being like, well, it's a clean play for the ball. I'm like, Jeff, you were stuck in the 90s, bro.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I hate Grayson Allen to begin with. I remember when I did like a piece for ESPN that like got cut up and destroyed and they ruined it. But I was covering the Duke game, and it was when Grayson was on the team, Kennard, Jason Tatum. I mean, a great Duke team.
That's a great team, yeah.
And, I saw him play, and I see David Robinson outside because his son was on the other team. And I say, David Robinson, what kind of a dirty little piece of garbage is Grayson Allen? He was like, Robinson's such a classy guy. He's a nice
Christian.
Young man.
Yeah. Robinson is a Christian. Yeah.
But I will say, man, people are saying, well, if you look at that play aside, I'm not. Track record has to play.
You're absolutely correct.
Into the role. And Grayson Allen, is this like when Kelly Olynyk got a reputation as being dirty and he dislocates or separates Kevin Love's shoulder? That might have cost the Cavs the title.
I think so.
If they have Love and LeBron, they might have beaten the young Golden State.
I agree with you. That's a huge what if.
If LeBron's second best player on that team wasn't Matthew Dellavedova,
maybe
they get a ring.
Exactly.
And it really just pissed me off. And Cam Reddish is in the game, motherfucker. And you best believe
Killer
he just
Cam.
took it to the rack. Yeah, reverse layup. I love it. Cam Reddish, number 21.
Love it. 21 is a great number.
It was Wilson Chandler for the Knicks. It's a cool number. It was the coolest number in like the early aughts when it was Duncan, KG, Darius Miles. There was a lot of cool 21.
Yeah, 21 was a sick number.
I'm so sick of this motherfucker.
Grayson Allen is a piece of fucking dog shit. And for Caruso, who breaks his wrist, I believe, or his hand, to cost a player 6 weeks. I mean, I think that's fucking ridiculous.
6 to 8 weeks. It's surgery, dude. Yeah. And I also say Billy Donovan, shout out to Billy Donovan, who said, Robert Williams got injured on a play from Mitchell Robinson. He goes, Robinson made a clean basketball play. He even said that. So shout out to Mitch for being a good man and a clean basketball player. But
I read that quote. I read that quote and I knew you were going to bring that specifically up, even though it does not matter at all.
Doesn't matter. But Alex Caruso is what Grayson Allen wants to be on defense. Because Alex Caruso is
he's an insanely good defender. Absolutely.
A tenacious defender and Caruso's a player I very much respect. Grayson Allen, I will admit that he has expanded his game. He's a very good shooter in the NBA. He's a dirty little bitch, though, dude.
I agree.
I see pictures of Ted Cruz now, and I go, he looks like Grayson Allen.
That's
how unlikable Grayson Allen has become. Instead of the other way around, it's flipped.
No, it broke my heart because it's like I was hoping. It's like, okay, he's a little fucking piece of shit. He was a little Duke cocksucker. They're all garbage, but hopefully he has just like grown out of that. Hopefully, because look, people were shitting on him. They've been shitting on him for this behavior the whole time, and you hope, and JJ Redick never did anything like this, but he was a villain in a way, and he was just kind of a douche and like whatever. And obviously JJ Redick grew out of that and became like, he used to write his own poetry and do like funny, hilarious douchey things.
He was a kid.
He was a kid.
I love Redick. I really do.
Well, that's my point. Is like he grew, and he would never started as bad as Grayson Allen. Don't get me wrong. And this is maybe just my Maryland bias speaking.
It is because I always kind of like JJ.
But the point is, you can shed that Duke douchebag fucking shit. You can shed that and you can grow into like JJ Redick's one of the most respected, most consummate professionals, like a sick player, a great at media. We talked about how good his podcast is and how good he is on these like new hits that he does on ESPN. And part of me was hoping like, okay, he'll never be as cool as JJ Redick, but at least he can not be a fucking complete cocksucker, especially on his like, this is what, third stop? Wasn't he drafted by the Jazz and then traded to the Grizzlies and then traded to the Bucks? So I was thinking like, well, hopefully.
That's right. He moved around a lot.
He moved around for a young player. He got a contract. He's a useful piece on a championship contender. Hopefully he put that shit behind him. And for this fucking little fucking piece of shit to fucking push it, like shove a guy in midair and then for him to fucking break his fucking wrist.
And if it was his only fuck up in his career, I'd be like, you know what? People make mistakes. it's so many. I mean, there's like highlight reels that are like 8 minutes long of him just tripping dudes and playing dirty. I'm like, dude, they have to put that motherfucker on a leash, because if he does that in the playoffs, he's costing teams like if the Bulls, and I hate that I'm even defending the Chicago Bulls right now, but the Bulls are a 1 seed, all right? Like, are they still huge. 1 seed? I mean, if you're in the playoffs and you do that to a 1, like you are costing a team a chance at a championship. Yeah, no, it's completely fucked up, and yeah, he should be suspended. I mean, nothing. The league hasn't said anything. Actually, the Nets are the number 1 seed right now, which is so funny. But it is hilarious. That's like, we talk about how like, oh, what's going on with the Nets? KD's hurt. Kyrie barely played 4 games. It's like they're the number 1 seed. They're that good. It's so annoying. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. The finals I want to see is Golden State Brooklyn. Yeah, well, that's or Brooklyn Phoenix. Okay, you're a piece of shit, and you're a fucking big market suck off. You're just a big market fucking coastal elite New York Jew. There's no reason to go there, Stavros. Let me tell you something, brother. Did I say anything that's not factual? Phoenix, I guess it's coastal, but is Phoenix really like coastal elite? It's more coastal regular. No, you're right. Golden State is more coastal elite. Coastal elite. And Brooklyn, fuck, I hate the team. I just want to see KD versus Steph. That's what I want to see. I mean, honestly, I want to see Draymond guarding KD. Don't tell me that ain't a fucking Here's what I want to see. I want to see fucking Milwaukee Suns rematch, dude. I really want to see it. You know, the fucking rematch. Giannis' second championship. He vanquishes them again. Grayson Allen goes up as Chris Paul goes up for a jump shot. He just puts his foot right under, and you just see Steve Buscemi and Billy Madison with a sniper rifle shoot him. Chris Paul's like, "Thank you." I'm glad I called that guy. Yeah, Grace. Yeah, I will say, and somebody else asked this. Let me see if I can shout them out. Somebody else did ask this on the Twitter. Sahara Drox at Storm Legacy Team. Why won't anyone talk about the Suns? That was their question. I love Phoenix. I'm a huge Phoenix Suns. And I have to say, they play, I love that team. I think they're so good, and let's talk about them. And it's like, I want to see them back. I want to see them make the leap. I want to see them vanquish the Warriors. That, you know what a good team you have to be, and they are opening up a little bit of a. They're 3.5 games up on the Warriors now. The Warriors have gone on a bit of a slide since Draymond got hurt. No Draymond. I mean, dude, okay, look, I wanted to see Steph KD for the rating, for the storyline, for it's good for the league. I mean, listen, the league wants Warriors Nets. Don't get me wrong. They don't want Suns Bucks. I'll tell you that much. Or somehow Nets Lakers if they were able to pull that shit off, but that won't happen. But I think they want Nets Warriors. Yeah, I'm sure. But I will say, it would be fun to watch Chris Paul finally take down Steph, because it just never happens. I still love CP3. One of my all-time favorite players. It's funny. A buddy of mine posted a thing about how underrated John Stockton is, and it was like a clip highlight thing. And I'm like, I think he like maybe my number 5 point guard. Fuck ever. John Stockton. Fuck the Jazz. I already take Magic, Zeke, Chris Paul, and Jason Kidd ahead of him, no doubt. I don't care about numbers. I'm looking at like who I would rather have as a point guard. Yeah, and I think I would. Nash is interesting too, because I think it's a longevity problem. Can't do Nash. You can't do Nash just for the. Offensively, you've got an argument, but Kid, I'm listening. Kid, I'd have to look at it. Kid, I'm listening. 2 finals appearances. You're right, but he wins and a ring. You're right. But the ring is with the Mavs. But he did completely turn around that Nets team in a way that is like insane. Twice he took them to the finals. It's so funny. That trade was just like, it was the ultimate like, let's just swap. It's not really working for anyone. And Kid was so good and Marbury was not, that it was just like, oh, Kid just turned this team into a fucking finals team. It's really a testament to how good Marbury was an incredible talent. Jason Kidd was a fucking great. Like, he was a floor general. He was insane on defense. Kid, I mean, you watch Kidd highlights now. You watch Stockton highlights and you're like, yeah, I get it. You watch Kidd highlights and you're like, if we're talking highlights, then you take Nash. But it's just it's the longevity of the career. Yeah, I got you there. No. Especially because it hurts my heart to say, but I take Stockton over Nash. Yeah. I like Nash way better.
Yeah, it's just like, he was friends with a pedophile, and I think he's a QAnon guy now. So
all right, fuck it. I take Stockton. I take Nash. Also, dude, Gary Payton was a bad man.
Totally. Oh yeah. If we're talking about cool, Stockton is like bottom. Although it is pretty funny to be like a little fucking Republican, like a tiny shitty Republican that just shit talks constantly. It's like is mean and like whatever. He's funny. He's a great character in the league.
Oh, dude, sure. And his Hall of Fame speech is amazing.
I don't think I've ever seen it. No.
Out of the gate, he's like, Michael has one good night. He makes one big shot, and you guys all go to, and it gets a huge laugh.
Hilarious.
He's because that draft class, like we're talking about best draft class ever.
Yeah.
That Stockton, Akeem, and MJ are in that draft.
Oh,
class.
You want to hear something crazy? When I read, I don't even remember what the fuck the book was, but I read back in like, in the middle of the fucking pandemic, I was reading like a bunch of basketball books, and I read in the middle of like the Last Dance hysteria. I read a Bulls book, and Krause wanted to draft. He wanted to trade up to get Stockton if the Jazz hadn't drafted him. He was like, his plan was to pair Jordan with Stockton from that draft class, which is
that would have been. But that's imagine if they somehow had Stockton, MJ,
insanity,
and Pippen.
Dude, insanity. But anyway,
they were paying Pippen such dog shit. They probably
they could have afforded it. Yeah. But anyway, Grayson Allen's a piece of shit, and we actually have some questions here that have to do with Grayson Allen. Let's find them. Who has the smaller nuts, Trae Young or Grayson Allen? Not even a discussion. It's Grayson Allen.
I hate respect Trae Young.
We've talked about it.
I do.
Yes.
He is carrying a pretty underachieving Hawks team, and he's
playing out of his fucking mind.
He's arguably an all-star starter. He won't be because. Maybe he will. Who fucking knows?
Well, it's interesting.
I think DeRozan's the other guard. And then it's kind of like, it's going to be hard, like, just in popularity, it's going to be hard to not get Harden in there or like.
But I think Trae's had a better season than Harden. And Harden's been great, but it's like.
I agree.
Harden's definitely an all-star. But,
and then the rest of the lineup is what? KD, Giannis, and Embiid?
Yeah, I would say so. Yep.
And what, Levine off the bench?
But if KD is hurt, then it's like, I don't know. Like, because that's the thing. It's like DeRozan should be a forward because the Bulls play Lonzo and Levine. Or
maybe Jimmy Butler starts. I know he's been injured, but Jimmy's,
I can't see him starting.
I do, but their record is insane.
But he wasn't there for, a third of it. You know what I mean?
I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't. When should we do when is All-Star? Next week? Or it's like in 3 weeks or something?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe next week we do the All-Star. Maybe next week we do the All-Star
maybe Tatum makes it over.
Fuck
maybe.
Tatum. No.
In votes, he's killing him. I take Jimmy, but in votes, he's killing him.
Fuck Tatum.
I think this is the year you got to give it to Van Vliet.
I think Van Vliet is on the team, yeah, for sure. I think Drew Holiday's on the team, too.
Drew and Middleton?
No, I don't think Middleton is this year. Anyway.
He just hasn't played enough. His numbers are great. It's just that he hasn't been around enough.
Yeah, he missed a lot of the time. Drew missed a lot recently, but Chris was gone like the beginning of the season. Maybe I was just watching the Bucks more in the beginning of the season, so I think he's lost more time than he has. Because I watched them a lot at the beginning, and then I missed a little stretch, so I have to. I don't know exactly how much time but I feel like he missed more time than Drew. But Drew also was out for a while just now, but he's back. Anyway, if you were also the guard thing, I just think Drew is just more solidly a guard, and Middleton is just a forward, and I think it's more crowded with the forwards, the front court.
Siakam has made some noise as of late as well. So
yeah, I gotta fucking look into who.
And I think Tatum is gonna make it. Tatum, got to take Tatum or Brown. Well, you got to take one of them.
I guess. I guess.
I'm with you. I think they suck, but I think one of them gets in.
I want to say Bam, but
Boston,
Bam hasn't played
them.
enough.
They're good. They're good. They're very good players. Boston sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to think. I guess if I just looked real fucking close.
I mean, who do you take from Cleveland? Jared Allen? You got to
Jared Allen. I think you take Jared Allen.
And that's it? No,
potentially Garland, but I think
potentially they're a 5 seed. I don't know, man. I think he's been playing.
Yeah.
How about LaMelo?
Yeah, my gut says yeah. I would take LaMelo over Garland.
Garland's averaging 19.8 and 8 assists.
Did he
and a steal.
Did he throw a fucking through his legs off the backboard alley-oop pass though? I don't think he did.
He's got similar numbers. He's got similar numbers to LaMelo though.
Yeah, LaMelo's cooler, and the cool in an All-Star game specifically. I gotta go cool. And look, Cleveland. Whatever.
Who would you rather have, Garland or LaMelo?
LaMelo. What the fuck?
Garland's a baller though.
LaMelo rules, dude.
You just like players who are in
he's sick.
I know, but you just like players who are in like the he fucked Instagram model stories.
Yeah, but if you're doing that and you look awesome on the court and you're good, like that's the other thing. He's not like you know what, dude? Jordan Clarkson or some shit. He's fucking.
Is Bradley? Who do you take? Bradley,
I don't think Beal's in.
Oh, Beal's not in.
I don't think that's what I'm saying. Beal has kind of fallen off a little bit. That's why that trade is
He's still averaging 24 a game.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Do you take Tatum over Beal?
I guess I would. I guess.
Yeah, I guess his numbers are a little better this year, but he's only shooting 41 from the field. Pretty shocking. He's
shooting like shit from the field. That's what I mean. The Celtics just are fucking a dog shit team.
It's funny. And you know what? I think Brown has kind of been a more efficient player this year.
And like Ime Udoka's cool, but I think the problem is you can't be cool and thrive on the Celtics. You have to be a fucking nerd because he is just not, dude. He throws them under the bus every game. It feels like he's always like they got to try harder. It's fucking hilarious. But anyway, we'll talk All-Star when we actually have had a chance to burn through some of this shit. Let's ask a couple more questions. This is someone says, if you were king. Hold on, let me find this fucking question. If you were kings of the world, no restrictions, what punishment would be leveled on the perfidious villain Grayson Allen? And that's from Punished Posters Trick at Fired for Posting.
I mean, it's interesting. I would make him play with like a shock collar around his neck. And when he does anything like even semi-dirty, just and like to the point that like he has to go on the ground like screaming.
He's writhing in pain.
And you have to play a few possessions with him. So I don't think it's like, I'm not locking him up. I'm not kicking him out of the league, but he's going to have to play in a lot of discomfort.
What about...
And maybe throw some middens on his hands so he can't really scratch at people anymore. I don't
think he scratches as much as pushes.
Yeah.
But I think, what about instead of a shot collar, what about a love sense? Or love sense is the thing you put up your ass and it vibrates. So you punish him with pleasure. You tickle his prostate every time, so he's like,
I don't think he deserves the pleasure.
You're right. but he seems uptight. He seems like having that kind of sexual joy in front of hundreds of thousands would embarrass him.
It is pretty humiliating to be coming while your team is down by like 15.
What you make him? Yeah, you make him bust in his pants while they're getting blown out, and he's on the court, and he's just like, oh, and you see a little wet spot. That would be really humiliating.
I really don't like him. I really just I wanted to give this dude another chance. There was all of me. I'm rooting for the kid.
Me too. Yeah.
To succeed because I don't want to dislike players. So I love the game so much, but he has given me nothing to cheer for. Really, I mean, he's still a dirty player. I know that teams think they need to have this guy, but guess what? PJ Tucker's an enforcer. I don't think he's dirty.
No,
you can be that guy without being dirty. Like Draymond's done some dirty shit, but Draymond is also I feel like he's so often just a great defender.
Yeah, no, he's never done anything that pushing people out of the air is like the fucking shittiest thing you could fucking do.
I think of the play when I forgot who it was who fell, but Steven Adams like caught a guy. And look, you're not expected to do that. But I'm like, man, you think of Steven Adams, you're like, that dude seems like a mensch, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I think my punishment is you cut off one of his toes. You know?
Every time he does something like this?
Every time he does, we start with the pinky, fucks his balance up a little bit, and it's like, all right, Grayson, we're going to cut off another toe if you're not fucking careful. And this time it might be bigger. We started with the pinky to be good guys, but it might be the second toe.
Can we do it retroactively? Do we start with any toes or what are we doing?
I think he takes we start with his pinky this time. And then it's like, all right, man, if you fuck up again, we're taking a bigger toe than this. All right? So that would be my thing. Personally, I think he's earned me.
He's going to be toeless by the end of the season.
Or he changes ways. Kenneth, I just wanted to say this real quick. Kenneth Martin, 7, says the Suns famously were allegedly all sucked off once in a hotel room, and Charles Barkley ran into trouble with the law in quest to get a blowjob. Is there a team that's more passionate and laser focused on the game of getting head than the Phoenix Suns? And I don't
there's something cultural. Like, you're in Phoenix, that is kind of the mission, I think.
Yeah, I agree. There is a when in Rome aspect to getting head. There's not much. There's a lot because it's like, and it's on both sides of the aging bell curve, right? Because you have like all these party schools. You have like, Arizona State. You have like, just a bunch of like slutty party schools. But then you also have on the other end, you have all these like old leathery retirees, just swingers sucking and fucking. Like, there's a weird fucked up vibe in Arizona where everyone is. It's a fucked up. It's a very sex positive town. And so
it's the Florida of the West for sure. It is
it's
like
absolutely,
what it's Miami without
desert.
art.
It's desert Florida, yeah. Miami without the culture or the Cubans, or the water. So, and you know what? That's why, because I respect that so much. That's why I want to see them come out of the West.
And I really like that team. I like Devin Booker. I think he's a pretty humble guy. I think he's a workhorse. I like what he got a lot of shit about the Kobe thing where he was like, I respect the Mamba mentality. I don't want to be.
But I'm not Kobe. Stop doing it.
I'm not Kobe. Stop it. It's like, and people were like, no one's saying you're Kobe. A lot of people compare his footwork and like,
it's a little much.
No one's saying no real basketball fans are like, he's Kobe. I mean, Kobe's Kobe. But I like that he was like, that's my guy. Like, don't compare me to him,
Yeah.
So I like that. I love CP3. I'm enjoying watching DeAndre. He's like a fun old school big, which I like.
He's been out, and I gotta say, Bismack Biyombo coming in for DeAndre Ayton
signing,
has fucking played out of his mind.
He's only been out a few games. I mean, he was balling. I mean, he's been in whatever, but when he's playing, I mean, he's got great numbers.
No, you're right. He's playing really good. But I gotta say, Bismack Biyombo has played insanely good to the point where it's like, I wonder if you're cheap ass Robert Sarver. Well, who knows if he's even, that seems to have gone away, by the way. That whole fucking, what's going on with Robert Sarver shit. But
sure.
Like Bismack came in.
Shocker, he's not a great human.
So Bismack against the Pacers, who, granted, their all-star centers are both out right now. He did it against Goga Bitadze. But he had fucking 21 points. He had fucking 13 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal.
The 5 assists are what impressed me.
A steal, 2 blocks. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's fucking...
He's balling.
All-star center numbers. Like, he's in also, a game, obviously.
He's not even 30. I mean, he's been around a long time.
Yeah, he's just been around, and he's had like
he got a really fat contract, that one. Remember the year that centers were getting paid? He got like 70 mil or something.
Yeah, he got a nice fat contract on that tip for sure.
That was a Mozgov type
deal. Which, shout out to Mozgov. Like, for a while his name was synonymous with getting dunked on, but it's like, my man got paid. My man got paid in the end.
I liked him, dude. I think he was kind of an interesting player because he had a jump shot. They didn't use him for threes, but I'm like, I think that dude could have hit threes.
Interesting.
He had a soft ass touch if you watched him play.
I have to admit, I did not look at Mozgov's shooting touch when I watched him play.
I went to the game he broke out for the Knicks when he was kind of before he became a part of the Nuggets deal, and he dropped like 25, and I was like, this dude's a skill. That's why he got paid.
Oh, I remember. That makes sense why you were, because like he was never a part of my life. I was not a Knicks fan when he was on the team, but so that makes sense why you paid a little more attention to Mozgov. I just knew him as getting dunked on by Blake, and then his just kind of a regular journeyman-ass career. This is an interesting one from Mackenzie BC, who says, "Will Alex Caruso?" This is a nice spin on the Grayson Allen thing. He says, "Will Alex Caruso come back from this injury with a full head of hair?" So, is it possible that Alex Caruso is taking advantage of Grayson Allen's reputation, faking a broken wrist, and is actually going to get hair plugs? Very possible. If that comes back, then we take it back. We take it all back, Grayson, and we apologize.
I still don't like Grayson. And also, I'll say this too. I think I would love if he came back with a full head of hair. That'd be so awesome. Like Costanza, that episode where Elaine rips it off. Go for it. Yeah, I mean, I forever am. I just am a fan of how Caruso plays. He's a tenacious defender. I hate to say it. I like how the Bulls play. Lonzo's terrific. DeRozan has been phenomenal. It annoys me. And Levine is obviously great. Vucevic. I mean, they're a dangerous Eastern Conference team. I don't think they beat Milwaukee or the Nets, but who knows, man? Shit. Yeah. I mean, when playoffs,
weird shit happens in the playoffs.
Injuries happen when you have a closer like DeRozan.
Yeah.
That guy wants the big moment. He really does want the big moment. And this is maybe his second best season
I really do
ever.
think both teams match up. Particularly the Bucks, I think, match up really well with them because they can guard their guys, I think, pretty well. But
and also,
still,
there's no answer for Giannis.
No, definitely not on that roster.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one from Cody Markle, who's at Merkle24. Would you rather have the Knicks or the Hornets roster leading into the future? Sam?
Well,
Sam?
I mean, the fact that they have LaMelo makes this tough. The fact that they have Bridges makes this tough. Of course, when we're talking youth, they're one of the top teams to beat. That being said, we have not seen what Cam Reddish has to offer.
Okay.
I also think RJ Barrett really. Oh, he just hit a fucking contested three as the clock's winding down. RJ Barrett has arrived, brother. I'm watching the game live.
What do we got? What's the score? Tell the people.
The Knicks are up by 5 going to the half against the Los Angeles Clippers. But I will say, I think RJ Barrett is really about to break out. I really believe that. Sure, LaMelo's incredible. So is Miles Bridges. I think he's a terrific player. I still think we have to see it to be continued for that question.
Great.
I also think Julius Randle is, whether he's part of our future or not, is a valuable piece. So let's put a pin in that. We'll get back to it at another time.
It's clearly the Hornets. I just needed to see how you and your mental illness would process that question.
Well, it's not finished, so it's not done anyway. So who cares?
Okay. Anyway, this is an interesting question from Adonis Dongopoulos at Banal.
So it's a wonderful name.
At Banal Sphincter. Who would win? 3 horny Stavs or versus 2 bad back Sams? He doesn't clarify what are we fighting for here. What are we winning? What's the contest? I just
if it's fucking Stavs killing me.
3 horny Stavs with versus 2 bad back Sams. Sam can't even get his stroke going. The most he can do is lay there and get slurped off.
I'll tell you, I went outside and shot around for the first time in a while because I'm healing a little bit, man. The mid-range J has never left. The big fundamentals back, brother.
I love to hear that. So, yeah, who knows? 3 horny Stavs versus 2 bad back Sams. And it's like, am I too horny? Let's say it's basketball. Am I too horny to even focus on basketball? Is Sam in too much pain to shoot the – am I promised pussy if I win the game? Because, I think 3-2 is also just such a huge advantage. So I think I would take 3 horny Stavs versus 2 bad back Sams in most situations.
It's possible.
No disrespect.
I mean,
no disrespect to you, Sam.
Well, how bad is my back? Am I like?
And how horny am I?
Exactly. It's a good question. You know, if I'm has Stav not jerked off in a week? That plays into this,
right?
Is Sam, coming fresh off physical therapy? He's feeling pretty good,
right?
I mean, is open-ended question.
Open-ended question, Mr. Dongflopoulos. We need a little more information. And this is what we'll end it with a mea culpa here. This is from Elias at EliasXD. Was your Derrick Rose trade reaction episode the coldest take of your podcaster careers? Probably mine. I hated it. I was a little too harsh on it. I just thought we were living in the past a little too much. But I was also still in the zone where I thought we should. I still didn't believe in Julius, and I still didn't believe in the direction the team was going. I was still in my heart hoping for a little mini tank instead of what we got. So that colored my view, but I was absolutely wrong. D Rose, that was a really great trade, obviously, for the
I mean,
Knicks.
we Dennis Smith.
Nothing.
It's crazy. But then, I love Derrick Rose and the team. I think we miss him horribly. I think
huge.
I think
and it's hard to watch this team.
RJ playing with newfound confidence with Rose coming back, I think will make this backcourt much more interesting. I really hope Reddish can find a way to fit into the rotation, and we need Rose. There's no denying it. Rose is also. If we somehow do get into the playoffs this year, I know we're looking rough, but if we find a way in, Rose is really kind of our emotional leader. If you think
huge.
about that,
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, thank you. I think we're going to end it there, folks. Thank you for your questions. If we didn't get to them, we'll do a couple more of these on the Patreon this week. Recorded TBD, but we'll be doing that one. So listen up. If you didn't get them, maybe subscribe. Become one of the Hard Dick 1817. Let's get to the Hard Dick 19. And then remember, when we get to the Hard Dick 2000, we have to proposition Stan Van Gundy for sex. So if you want to see that happen, get to it. Real quick, let me read one new, fresh 5-star review here from Zubito. And please go give us a 5-star review. If you don't want to be a part of the Hard Dick 1800, go give us a nice Hard Dick 5-star review. We will read 5-star reviews. We will not read anything else. So don't even fucking do it, you pieces of shit. Don't even leave a fucking non-5-star review, you fucking pieces of dog dick. So this is from Zubito, who says, ever since listening to PDL, I haven't needed my Blue Chew chewable tablets. P.S. Rondo was not the third best player on the bubble Lakers. That was KCP. Dude couldn't miss an open three.
Oh, that was in the finals. We're talking about the entire...
So take that, Sam.
No. Are we talking about the entire
Take that,
playoffs
Sam,
or the finals?
That'll do it, folks. Thank you for listening.
Shut the fuck up. Well, let me add one more thing.
And that's the episode.
You're gonna love this. No, dude, listen to this.
Okay.
Gonzaga has suspended the season tickets of his most prominent alum, John Stockton, for failing to comply with the school's mask mandate.
Hilarious.
I just want to end on that.
That's a nice note to end on. I like that. So thank you guys so much. Thanks for listening, and we will talk to you later this week with a Patreon episode. Bye.
They don't know